We honor a collective of titans who didn't just master their crafts, but fundamentally redefined the landscape of modern excellence. From the adrenaline of the arena to the visionary reach of global media, these masters transformed their industries through unyielding discipline and raw authenticity. They stood as the bridge between eras, proving that a hero's greatest weapon is the courage to push the human spirit to its absolute limit. While they leave behind a world forever changed by their genius, their stories remain our compass, a reminder that a true legend never fades. Kenji Oba. Kenji Oba, February 5, 1955 to May 7, 2026, was the galactic pioneer of action cinema, a man who didn't just play a superhero but defined the very physical language of heroism through his own blood, sweat, and breathtaking stunts. Rising from the rigorous training grounds of the Japan Action Club to become the pulsating heart of the tokusatsu universe, Oba stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between Japanese practical effects and global martial arts appreciation. As the definitive space sheriff Gavin, he pioneered the metal hero genre, forever influencing everything from RoboCop to the sleek aesthetics of modern superheroes, while famously insisting on performing his own high-risk stunts, even when the cameras captured him outside the protection of his iconic suit. His lethal precision with a katana eventually caught the eye of Hollywood visionary Quentin Tarantino, leading to a legendary appearance in Kill Bill, Volume 1 that served as a worldwide thank you to a master who spent decades perfecting the art of the screen fight. While other actors relied on the safety of editing and doubles, Oba thrived in the raw reality of the stunt, bringing a visceral, breathtaking energy to the silver screen that made the impossible feel undeniably real. His legacy is found not just in the gleaming chrome armor he wore, but in the profound integrity he brought to every frame as a mentor, a warrior, and a pioneer. As the final curtain falls, we remember a man who believed that a hero's greatest weapon was the courage to push the human body to its absolute limit, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the sparks of his sword continue to light up the screens of our imagination. Ted Turner. Ted Turner, November 19, 1938 to May 7, 2026, was the maverick visionary of the modern age, a relentless pioneer who didn't just witness the evolution of global media but fundamentally rewired the way the world communicates. Rising from the helm of his father's billboard company to become the mouth of the South, Turner stood as a titan of industry who bridged the gap between traditional broadcasting and the instant, 24-hour global village. As the audacious founder of CNN, he pioneered the concept of around-the-clock news, forever altering the course of history by ensuring that no moment of human triumph or tragedy would ever again go unseen, while famously risking his entire empire on a dream that experts claimed was impossible. His competitive fire eventually extended to the high seas, where he captained the Courageous to a legendary victory in the America's Cup, earning him the title of Captain Outrageous, and proving that his tactical brilliance was as lethal on the water as it was in the boardroom. While other media moguls played it safe within established boundaries, Turner thrived in the raw reality of the gamble, launching the Goodwill Games and revolutionizing professional wrestling and baseball, bringing a visceral, larger-than-life energy to global entertainment. His legacy is found not just in the satellite dishes and cable networks that bear his mark, but in the profound philanthropic integrity he showed by pledging $1 billion to the United Nations, a gesture that challenged the world's elite to use their wealth for the survival of the planet. As the final curtain falls, we remember a man who believed that a visionary's greatest weapon was the courage to speak truth to power and the audacity to think big, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the pulse of global information continues to beat across our screens. Nabil Lalou. Nabil Lalou, 1945, May 7, 2026, was the avant-garde provocateur of Moroccan cinema and theater, a relentless creative rebel who didn't just tell stories but shattered the conventions of Arab art to mirror the complex soul of a nation. Rising from the prestigious stages of Paris to become the most distinctive voice in North African intellectual circles, Lalou stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between classical theatrical discipline and the raw, experimental energy of modern filmmaking. As the visionary director behind masterpieces like The Sculptor and The Compromise, he pioneered a unique style of absurdist political satire, forever influencing generations of African filmmakers, while famously insisting on complete creative autonomy, often writing, directing, and starring in his own works to ensure his uncompromising vision remained pure. His sharp, satirical wit eventually earned him a reputation as the enfant terrible of Moroccan culture, a man who spent decades using the stage as a battlefield for social justice and intellectual freedom. While other directors relied on safe, commercial narratives, Lalu thrived in the raw reality of the challenging and the surreal, bringing a visceral, thought-provoking energy to the screen that forced audiences to confront uncomfortable truths. His legacy is found not just in the iconic films and plays that challenged censorship, but in the profound integrity he brought to every production as a mentor, a philosopher, and a pioneer of the theater of the oppressed. As the final curtain falls on May 7, 2026, we remember a man who believed that an artist's greatest weapon was the courage to remain independent at any cost, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the spirit of creative resistance continues to light up the stage of our imagination. Evaristo Beccalossi. Evaristo Beccalossi, May 12, 1956 to May 7, 2026, was the bohemian virtuoso of the Italian pitch, a creative genius who didn't just play football but transformed the beautiful game into a high-stakes art form defined by elegance and unpredictability. Rising from the fields of Brescia to become the legendary number 10 and pulsating heart of Inter Milan, Beccalossi stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between raw athletic power and the poetic grace of the classic fantasista. As the definitive architect of the Nerazzurri midfield during their 1980 Scudetto triumph, he pioneered a style of play that prioritized vision and flair, forever influencing the archetype of the Italian playmaker, while famously thriving on the madness of the game, capable of dismantling the world's toughest defenses with a single, physics-defying pass. His lethal left foot and charismatic presence eventually earned him a place in the pantheon of San Siro icons, a man who spent his career proving that football was a theater where the unexpected was the greatest prize. While other players relied on tactical rigidity and physical force, Beccalossi thrived in the raw reality of the creative gamble, bringing a visceral, breathtaking energy to the stadium that made the impossible feel like a stroke of genius. His legacy is found not just in the trophies and the historic goals scored in the Derby della Madonnina, but in the profound integrity he brought to the sport as a man who refused to sacrifice beauty for results. As the final whistle blows on May 7, 2026, we remember a pioneer who taught us that an athlete's greatest weapon was the imagination to see the spaces others could not, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the magic of the number 10 continues to light up the dreams of football fans everywhere. Vladimir Cvetkovic. Vladimir Cvetkovic, August 16, 1941 to May 7, 2026, was the golden architect of Yugoslav basketball, a towering figure who didn't just compete on the hardwood but fundamentally engineered the rise of a global sporting superpower. Rising from the iconic courts of Red Star Belgrade to become the heartbeat of the national team, Cvetkovic stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between the raw physicality of the paint and the clinical precision of a master strategist. As the hero of the 1968 Olympic silver medal campaign, where his ice-cold nerves at the free throw line sealed a historic victory over the USSR, he pioneered a standard of excellence that would forever influence the European game, while famously transitioning from a prolific scorer to a visionary administrator. His tactical brilliance eventually led him to the helm of Red Star as General Secretary, where he spent decades building the infrastructure that would lead the club to the pinnacle of world football and basketball, proving his genius was as lethal in the boardroom as it was under the basket. While other sporting figures remained confined to their roles on the court, Cvetkovic thrived in the raw reality of leadership, bringing a visceral, larger-than-life energy to the management of elite sport. His legacy is found not just in the Olympic and World Championship medals that adorn his career, but in the profound integrity he brought to the development of Balkan athletics as a mentor, a statesman, and a pioneer. As the final buzzer sounds on May 7, 2026, we remember a man who believed that a champion's greatest weapon was the composure to strike when the stakes were highest, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the spirit of competition continues to light up the arenas of our imagination. Laszlo Fazekas. Laszlo Fazekas, October 15, 1947 to May 7, 2026, was the clinical maestro of the Hungarian Golden Era revival, a prolific marksman who didn't just score goals but redefined the art of the clinical finish with the grace of a grandmaster. Rising from the historic ranks of Újpest to become a pillar of the Hungarian national team, Fazekas stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between the legendary, magical Magyars of the past and the fast-paced intensity of modern European football. As a 9-time Hungarian champion and the recipient of the Silver Boot as one of Europe's top scorers, he pioneered a style of striking that combined lightning-quick anticipation with a lethal touch, forever influencing the archetype of the versatile forward, while famously serving as the captain who led his nation through the fierce battles of multiple World Cups. His relentless hunger for the net eventually earned him status as an icon across both Hungary and Belgium, where he spent years proving that a striker's true power lies in the marriage of intelligence and instinct. While other attackers relied solely on physical strength, Fazekas thrived in the raw reality of tactical positioning, bringing a visceral, exhilarating energy to the pitch that made every entry into the penalty area a moment of high drama. His legacy is found not just in the hundreds of career goals and his Olympic gold medal, but in the profound integrity he brought to the game as a professional who respected the traditions of the sport while pushing its boundaries. As the final whistle blows on May 7, 2026, we remember a man who believed that a striker's greatest weapon was the split-second clarity to see a path to glory where others saw only a wall, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the nets of the world continue to ripple in the wake of a perfect strike. Mert Lowell. Mert Lowell, February 1, 1940 to May 7, 2026, was the mechanical poet of the dirt track, a revolutionary champion who didn't just master the motorcycle but fundamentally re-engineered the connection between man, machine, and the earth beneath them. Rising from the dusty oval tracks of the American Midwest to become the 1969 AMA Grand National Champion, Lowell stood as a rare titan who bridged the gap between raw, adrenaline-fueled racing and the sophisticated world of high-performance engineering. As the star of the legendary documentary On Any Sunday, he pioneered the image of the professional racer as a relentless innovator, forever influencing the global perception of motorcycle culture, while famously spending his nights in the garage, hand-tuning the Harley-Davidson machines that would carry him to the pinnacle of the sport. His technical genius eventually extended far beyond the racetrack, leading him to invent the Lowell Link suspension, a groundbreaking design that revolutionized the mountain bike industry and earned him a place in the Mountain Bike Hall of Fame, proving his brilliance was as lethal on a drafting table as it was on a half-mile dirt track. While other racers relied solely on natural talent and bravery, Lowell thrived in the raw reality of the mechanical detail, bringing a visceral, analytical energy to the sport that turned every race into a masterclass in physics and focus. His legacy is found not just in the number 1 plates and the checkered flags, but in the profound integrity he showed through his prosthetic hand project, utilizing his engineering skills to help amputees return to the handlebars and the life they loved. As the final lap concludes on May 7, 2026, we remember a man who believed that a pioneer's greatest weapon was the curiosity to understand how things work and the courage to make them work better, ensuring that his legend will never fade so long as the wheels of innovation continue to turn across the landscapes of our imagination.